Welcome back to Crown's Crypto Cave, waking up for a very early, a very underslept Saturday morning over here in Helsinki, Finland. As always, want to be wishing you well, no matter where you are coming from in this good old cryptocurrency land, whether you're waking up for a very early morning like myself, maybe having a cup of coffee, good on you, or you're just coming back from a late night session over there in the Western Hemisphere. Well, I always want to welcome you and wish you the happiest of the happiest, the best of the best days, Saturdays possible, as we do get on over to the live scene right here, right now. And Bitcoin having some action in the early morning hours. Unfortunately, I was completely asleep during this. However, last night I do remember speaking about on stream that I did take a short at 38.85. I actually ended up getting to close some of that right around the 21 exponential, right around 37.95, something like that. So a nice play to be made there, right there. But of course, in this market, everything seems to happen in, like 5-minute splurts. So looking at the lower time frames, we're really going to have to dissect this down as there's a few competing narratives going on. Now, of course, Bitcoin grinding up against all this resistance right here around this 3900 area. Nothing's changed there from the medium time frame perspective, but the short-term time frame perspective was initiated as we did break this rising channel down with this hourly dollar closing right below 38.65, and then straight on down for another $100 all the way down, wick down to 37.42.5. Jesus fucking Christ on BitMexico. That is just the beauty of Wix City right now. Anyways, as you can see, hourly was defended above 3800. So of course, the medium time frame perspective does not change right now. That was only to do with the short-term time frame perspective. To go back over what I was looking for on the medium time frame perspective to actually fully be confirmed change is I need to see a daily doodle, not a daily doodle, but like a 2-hour doodle close, either above the 89 exponential right over here at 39.30. Where is it coming in around? 39.35 actually. It is slowly crawling its way down, and or to the downside, I need to see a 2-hour delta close below about 37.90. So you can very obviously see that we did not violate either one of those. And right here, right now, Bitcoin actually rallying all the way back up. Just fucking brutal, man. Fucking brutal. As you can see, nothing's changed from this perspective. I do want to check out daily Stokes. They are going to be pointed up right now. And it is technically not confirmed as of the current moment in time. It will be confirmed if we do close here or higher by end of day, here being about 38.74.5. By the way, as you notice, I've also changed around where my camera is. That's so that you can see the price right below my face. There you go. Been a lot of people asking for that, so hopefully that helps out. Anyways, that's pretty much what's going on in Mr. Bitcoin right now. As far as those timeframes go, I'm curious what the medium timeframes are looking like right now. We got 4-hour Stokes actually just pointed up, regaining the 21 exponential. So these actually do look like they want to give another rally back into that supply zone. What about the 6-hour though? 6-hour are going to be coming down. 8-hour should be coming down as 8-hour is technically down right now, but if we add another $20 rally, that will open up, and we will be finishing that and confirming that in the next hour and 41 minutes. So again, a lot can actually change around during the weekend. But typically speaking, I don't see like major ranges being broken during a weekend. Typically just runs, so stop runs, as we saw to the downside and likely to the upside as well. If you're going to go test some supports, you're probably going to go test some of the resistances. 10-hour, same sort of thing. Actually, sorry, not same sort of thing. Still up right now. And again, this is going to really depend on where we close this next dildo. So for now, it will be up, but if we had about a $10 down from here, it will actually be down. And that is why it's very difficult on the weekends to get this price action right in a very tight range. You can really only talk about the medium to higher time frame perspective, which can be made good decisions off of. But right now, 12-hour looks like it wants to go up to me as well. Technically, could be considered crossing down right now, but still charging his way up as we do approach 38.80, and you do see the 12-hour RSI finally get out of the bearish control zone and really putting in time during the neutral zone, which is typically a good thing as far as this consolidation goes. So again, you can really see both ways here, but let me just remind you and also remind myself what is coming in around this range. What are we dealing with that has been stopping all of these wicks for the past 2-3 weeks, right around that 3900-ish level? Well, of course, I do consider this a front run of the 89 exponential, this cyan moving average, which has been governing price action all the way back towards I mean, September of last year, yes, we did have this one-off right here, but you can also notice that we did not both open and close a daily doodle above the 89 exponential. So the last time that we actually even did that was September of last year. You see that it's actually perfectly gotten the highs of all of the last bull traps, or maybe not. I wouldn't really consider these bull traps, but the highs of these consolidations before leading into the more aggressive downtrend. Anyways, you can see that we're actually taking up above 38.85 right now, so it looks like we're going to give another run to the overall supply zone. But before we can get there, hopefully I can get out exactly what else is in that range, as it's not just the 8-hour exponential, but it's also the monthly 50 exponential, this green moving average right here, which has been holding Bitcoin back for the past 3-4 months. As you can see, Bitcoin broke it for the first time in November of 2018. Sorry, it did not break it in November of 2018, but it came all the way down. Then we broke it formally in December of 2018, and then ever since then we've actually been living below it, and it's been governing our our wicks to the upside ever since then. So again, when I'm looking at something like this, I'm thinking to myself that higher time frame perspective is not changed around, and as long as we're below the 50 exponential, I would actually be bearish. And again, that's currently coming in around 38.83. So actually, I mean, we're technically above it by a few bucks right now. But again, when we're talking about a very high time frame like this, you can have like a buffer zone of a little bit, which we'll get to in just a second. Jesus Christ, man, Bitcoin actually having another 10 bucks up, 38.90. Going to be getting right into that supply zone. It's beautiful when it actually happens on stream. I don't have any positions right now, and I don't really care to have any positions right now. But there's your monthly, the 50 exponential coming in right around there. Now, the thing is that as long as Bitcoin is being held in by this, more importantly, I do look at this as an overall consolidation below a major exponential that is being respected and, more importantly, actually broken for the first time in its history. This is a little bit more readily available when we look at the 3-day doodle time frame right here, which we can see that this is the price structure of a very, it's very corrective price structure. You can see that also in the volume signature going from left to right. It is that nice falling off in volume. You could even make a nice trend line right around here. I mean, not that you really have to make it, work perfectly. It just so happens to do that, but overall, that tells me that this price action is indeed corrective in nature and to be considered a consolidation, which, as we verified on the higher time frames, would be a consolidation below a major exponential as these two moving averages approach each other. That's the red 10 simple and the yellow 20-minute exponential from the monthly perspective. And to me, those are going to be the operating terms that will dictate where this consolidation breaks to. Hopefully I got that all out correctly and that made sense. But basically what I'm saying is that if Bitcoin does fail to get back above the 50 exponential, basically in the next month, we will see these guys cross and they will be confirmed to the downside. That will just intensify all of the bot and algorithmic selling, which will likely send this consolidation, resolve it to the downside, which from a higher time frame perspective on a monthly would be likely sending us down to the 89 exponential, down around about 2,500-ish area, which would, kind of make sense. Anyways, not only do we have just the 50 exponential from the monthly coming in around this area, but we also have, if we can get on over here to the 2-week dildo time frame, the 10 simple moving average, this red moving average right here, which has been governing price action ever since January of last year, January 2018. Why is this important? Well, Bitcoin's been unable to both open and close a 2-week dildo above this moving average ever since it essentially confirmed a downtrend as far as this time frame goes. You can see that, yes, we did try to close one above right here, but we were unable to both open and close one above on the next dildo. In fact, a clear and obvious trap to follow. And ever since then, it's just governed the last highs of the prior wicks. And as you can see, actually sending it down from that 4,200 level that we saw the past couple weeks in late February, and then once again we've actually grounded up, went right to it at technically at 39.17. So everything's right around that range. We have the 50 exponential, we have the 2-week 10 simple moving average, we have the daily 89 exponential. We're going to go over a few more things actually, but this very important to me as well because you can see it again. This is a very corrective price structure and to be considered a consolidation. So as long as we're respecting that 10 simple moving average, I would be looking at these two moving averages, which actually have confirmed to the downside, the yellow 21 and the green 55, to denote that this consolidation is likely gaining momentum to the downside, which I would agree with as long as we are held in by this 10 simple. So again, that is what is at stake right now. Does that mean that Bitcoin can't break above this current supply zone? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It just means that if we do, we have something new going on. But for now, I would interpret this as a consolidation below all these moving averages, which more likely to be resolved to the downside. Not only that, but let's go over to the 4-day dildo time frame, 4-day dildo time frame, you can see, has been held in by this yellow 21 exponential. But more importantly, we have gotten the 4-day dildo death cross right here. So my rule with the death cross is that once you got the death cross, the green 50 and the purple 200, then I look for the 21 exponential to kind of be the signal. So as long as we're governed below it, I would actually be overall bearish from this time frame's perspective. Now, of course, this is a stark contrast to the lower time frames, which you can make a bullish argument for. But the higher time frames, I just want to show, are still very much bearish, as long as these areas are held below. And again, this 21 exponential is coming in around where? Around 39.05 and a half. You can also see the blue 377 ancient technology from the traditional markets actually governing the last 1, 2, 3 highs for the last few months. And where is that coming in around? 30, 39, 30, essentially where the 89 exponential is on the daily. So again, a lot of things coming in around this area. I think that you could make an argument that the RSI is kind of flatline, but not a huge deal. More importantly, you can see a very obvious rejection on the last try to even get above. Let's go over to the 3-day Stokes have crossed down. This is unconfirmed though. If we do have like a $100 run to the upside, they will open back up. This will be confirmed to the downside if we stay here or lower, or anywhere below 39.50. I'd imagine in the next 2 days. That would likely be a big deal, as each and every time that we actually have crossed the Stokes down on the 3-day dildo time frame, it has not been good for the bulls. This was your last highs in early January. This was your dump of August of 2018 from 8,400 to 6,000. This was your dump of May 2018 from 10,000 to 6,000. This was your dump of February's last double top last year, from 12,000 to 6,000. Again, sorry, struggling with my words as it is an early morning. Then we can crawl down to the 2-day dildo time frame, and actually a little bit more advanced right here, as you'd imagine. The 2-day dildo time frame has crossed down and has confirmed down, and same sort of idea with this guy. Each and every time that we've crossed in the more bullish territory zone, right here, right here, right here, right here, all matching up with those prior dumps that we spoke about. So again, that is something that I do want to have in my mind as we do approach a very critical time of the good old charts. And as you can see, the 21 exponential on the 2-day dildo time frame actually did hold up the dump to the downside. So again, from the higher time frame perspective, nothing's really changed there. I'd still be bearish. Of course, the trend is your friend until the end of the trend, and we can certainly talk about what I need to see in order to change my mind around. But for now, I do want to focus back down into the lower time frames, because Bitcoin medium time frames do want to. I mean, they do want to rally back up. We just fucking saw that. Again, I started out this video saying that we're just kind of seeing it. Play out right now. But to put back on the drawing tools, this blue supply zone is what I've been referring to, also denoted by the 236 Fibonacci retracement. So just another thing coming around there. We have the 4-day, we have the 3-day, we have the 2-week, we have the monthly, we have the daily, and now we have the 236. We should also be having, if we go over here to the CMEs, you'll notice on the CMEs, last night, right before they closed, this was rejected. This trend line going all the way back to late November, which has been governing the CME's lower highs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, once again providing the impetus for another resistance. And we can see a very clear and obvious rejection of this level. Again, coming in around the 382 Fibonacci retracement. It is closed for the weekend, by the way. It did close at 38.65, so I'd imagine that spot prices are probably going to be, held in this range throughout the weekend. I'd imagine, sorry, but probably going to happen. Again, does it need to happen? What if we gap down? We could gap down. But a very clear rejection like this over the weekend would lead me to believe that we're unlikely to clear 3,900 over the weekend. But again, my opinion is null and void. I don't care about my opinion. I don't trade my opinion. If I see Bitcoin start closing some 2-hour dildos above 39, 30-ish area, 39.40 especially, I would get instantly bullish for a move to about 4,200. That is what is at stake on the lower time frames right now, or even on the medium time frames, I should say. So again, lower time frames are pretty much, I'd say, overall neutral, as long as they're between 39 and 37.90. You could just call it 3,800. Whichever one of those breaks first is going to be the next medium-term direction. If it breaks to the upside, I would be looking for a move to about 4,200 and probably beyond. If it does break to the downside, I would be looking for, probably to test the range lows overall, over time. Anyways, as you can see over here on the CMEs, they did close Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 38.65. So again, that will be of interest when they open back up tomorrow, Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, or sorry, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm gonna want to know where spot is in relation to that. If spot is below where CMEs closed, then I'd be looking for a rally and probably sell the gap fill. If it is above, then I'd probably be looking for a buy on the gap fill and play a little bit of at the very least a bounce. I mean, if we actually opened above, if spot's going to be trading above CMEs when they open tomorrow on Sunday, that would actually be extremely bullish. But again, with the way that we ended, especially on a rejection like this, I'd say that that's a little bit less likely. We do have our 4-hour Stokes coming down. I'm curious what our hourly is saying right now. Hourly's down as well. What about daily? Daily is fresh cross up, and the daily has been pretty good on CMEs as far as Stokes go. Daily RSI not telling us anything. I mean, if I had to say something, I would say it's a bearish consolidation, but a lot can go on from here. I want to go back to Mr. Bitcoin and see, there was about to be a signal given on the 2-hour Joule last night. I'm curious, did it play out before that move or not? Just want to show, yep, happening right here, and that was like the dildo right before the nice downfall. So not bad for all the people who are new to the Joule. That's what a good signal can look like. And again, am I saying that you're going to get a move like this every time? No, that's you typically get a nice move, but a move like this is an extra bonus. I'm curious, what are our 2-hour Stokes doing right now? A lot of snaking around. That's to be expected on the weekend. A lot of directionless type shit on the on the higher time frames. The lower time frames look like a breakout and breakdown every fucking second of the day, but that's because it's a lot easier to hunt people out on the weekends. So yeah, let's see. I'm curious where this next hourly dildo closes, as if it does close below this rising trend line that we broke down from last night, I actually might take a position off that. That'd be about 38.75 if we do close below the if we close this this hourly below. Actually will consider a trade like that. But overall, I just do consider this last wick that we got another test of basically the supply zone. It's in the range. We got all the way up to 38.90. Technically speaking, I have it started around 38.95. It's all the same as far as I'm concerned. I'm curious what the higher time frames look like after a rally like this. 12-hour looks okay right here. The 12-hour actually looks like it kind of wants to go. Stokes are going to dictate that coming up on the next tick, though. What about 10-hour? 10-hour a little bit less so. I'm curious if we do lose 38.50 by the next 3 hours and 30 minutes, then there's something new to consider as far as the lower time frames go. But again, we're actually going to be getting a golden cross, a 10-hour dildo golden cross pretty soon. If price action remains above about 38.10 in the next, I'd say day and a half. And that would likely be a big deal. The last time that we got something like that was all the way back on over here. The last time that we got it was on this run to 8,400, this bull trap. The time before that was this last bull trap, or the bull trap before that at 10,000. And the time before that was actually really good, because the time before that was all the way down at at $1,000. So pretty damn good overall. It's in a bull market, it's basically perfect. But in a bear market, calling the last grasp for air on these traps. So again, it will be very interesting to see if we actually do get this cross. If we do get this cross, could that be the impetus for actually breaking finally this resistance that we've been looking at around 3,900 to 3,940? Yeah, very well could be. Again, this area right here. So to wrap up the lower timeframes, to wrap up the medium-term timeframes, as long as Bitcoin is below this blue box and above essentially this area right here at around 37.90, nothing's changed as far as that range goes. But there is incredible importance on what's going on right now, because if Bitcoin does break above this blue box territory, I'd be looking for a quick move over to about 4,150, 4,200, probably reaccumulate, and then probably try higher into the mid 4,000s. If the opposite happens, if we do break 3,800 first, then I would be looking for another quick move down towards 3650, test the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement, test this horizontal, test also this descending trend line going all the way back, governing our lower highs from late November, which would be meeting price action right there. If Bitcoin were to actually break 3650, I'd get extremely bearish to seeing I don't think I can't say new lows based off that, but what I can say is very, 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 very likely around 3,400, the range lows of the overall formation. Anyways, that's going to do it for right there. I do want to quickly talk about what I would need to see for Bitcoin to switch my macro perspectives, as we briefly discussed. The purple 200 exponential on the weekly is of great importance to me. There's 3 things I'm looking for. This is the first one and the easiest one to do, although you can see that it's not been so easy. I mean, the purple 200 exponential has been rejecting Bitcoin ever since the more aggressive downtrend began in November. But as long as Bitcoin is both opening and closing weekly doors below the purple 200 exponential, I don't believe that there is any, it's not really appropriate to be talking about the lows are in. And of course, does that mean that Bitcoin can't get above it? Of course it can, but I need to see it proven first. If that happens, I'd be looking for a run into the mid to deep 4,000s, perhaps. 4,800 would be right around the corner. This second thing is significantly more important, and I'd actually be putting even more weight on this, and that is the monthly 21 exponential. As long as Bitcoin is below there, I am overall bearish, but that also means that Bitcoin could rally up all the way to test the 21 exponential at 5,200, reject from there, and then still remain overall bearish. But this would obviously come in confluence with the 2-week. If Bitcoin actually did close monthly above the 21 exponential, I would immediately become bullish. Personal preference, and I'd actually greatly change my tune if even the weekly trigger was hit as well. The third and final and most important, but you're probably going to know beforehand, trigger would be if Bitcoin got back above about 6,000, the area that it spent so long going sideways upon. Zero reason to be bearish if that were to happen. But for now, as you can see, we are well below this. In fact, the 21 exponential getting the last bear market perfectly. Once we broke to the downside, very bad, led on to capitulation. Then once we broke it back up to the upside, more importantly, that was the beginning of your bullish momentum. Perfect entry, actually, I would argue. And again, the 21 exponential on the monthly is something that I used in traditional markets as a market maker, authorized trader to judge if a stock, if an asset was generally bullish or generally bearish over the long term. So again, right now, Bitcoin's still obviously very below it. So we talked about Bitcoin, we talked about CMEs. Did we talk about GBTC? No, we did not. GBTC closing the day out strong. Closing the day out on its highs. I'd be bullish looking at higher time frames on GBTC. Yes, we did just reach our prior high. Could it put in just another lower high? Yeah, very, 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 very possible. But right now, I mean, there's a lot of good things going on in the daily. Daily Stokes crossing up. Daily RSI taking off. Daily Jewel not telling us anything right now. But what about lower time frames? What about like a 4 hour? Yeah, 4 hour looks good as well. 4 hour looks good. Fills a gap right here, gets bought right back on up. Okay, fair enough. Got to respect that. Technically, yes, there is resistance literally right where we are right now at about 488, or a few ticks above, I suppose. But if this thing does take out that high, I mean, that's going to be the first higher high in a very long time. That's going to be a big deal. So again, GBTC obviously does not trade on the weekends. So we'll just have to wait this one out. But if I were looking at this, I'd be more bullish. Let's go look at the underlying market dynamics right now. Let's go look at the longs and shorts. Shorts getting a lot more interested. We do see shorts now above 20,000. So I'm going to go back and dissect this, but look at the ratio now. It is severely collapsing on each other. We are seeing longs at about 23,500 open longs. We are seeing shorts at 20,500 open shorts. 3,500 of these guys are hedged, so it's actually not as much. We really have about a little under 17,000 open naked shorts, which is not is really low. But more importantly, looking at the ratio is still in favor of the bulls. No doubt about it. It's still in favor of the longs. No doubt about that. And that does offer up the potential for fireworks generated in the opposite direction of those longs desired positions. But more importantly, for the shorts right now, this red box territory, which again, looking at the underlying market dynamics, has led on to the major dumps of the past year. Each and every time. This was your dump in your double top of February last year at 12,000 before going down to 6,000. This was your top at 10,000 before going down to 6,000 in May. This was your top at 8,400 before going down to 6,000. This was your breakage of 6,000 down to 3,000. And then once again, we remained in this area for about 2 weeks, and now shorts are getting interested once again, which is very, 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 very key, because we are at, as we described on all of the lower time frames, or sorry, not even lower time frames, but macro time frames, below critical resistances right now. So as shorts start to get more and more interested putting on positions, I would imagine that if shorts are going to take back over, they do it from this position while they still have all of the monthly, all of the 2 week, all of the 4 week, or sorry, all the 4 day, all the 3 day, all the daily, and beyond on their side. This is where I'd imagine that they actually do put in some pressure. So again, this is what I'd be looking for. We do see shorts getting out of this region. So if it is going to emerge, I believe that it does happen from here. If the bear's going to take back on over, if the bears fail to take on over, and if the bears do lose like 3,900, 3,940, we will now have people probably liquidate once again, and that will actually provide more fuel for that run into the mid to low 4,000s. So again, looking at something like this does tell me that overall, looking at the timing of these features, likely to happen, if it is going to happen, now. Or I mean, now is a terrible term to use, because when I say now, looking at a daily like this, that means in like 3 days. Within 3 days, I'd be looking for something like that. Anyways, go check on the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. We are once again taking out a 55, which is in the greedy zone. Yesterday, we were technically neutral. The day before that, we were a little bit on the greedy side as well. But more importantly, going over here to the actual chart, let me make sure that you can see it. Yes, you can. Beautiful. Oh, it's like my head is cut out just perfectly for this. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for shaping with a beautiful cone head. But again, when the Crypto Fear and Greed Index has gotten above the 50 marker, that has initiated major dumps for the past year as well. Each and every time, same areas that we just spoke about. February double top at 12,000 last year, May top at 10,000 last year, August top at 8,400 last year, September top, November top before going down to from 6,000 to 3,000, and then once again we are back above this range. So to me, this is telling me that the underlying market dynamics are both, on the sides of the bears. For the past year, historically speaking, that has been the trend, that major dumps have emerged from this area. So this next move is so critical as far as I'm concerned, because it will drastically change the medium time frame perspective, which can have leeway into the macro perspective. But as we looked at, the macro perspective needs a lot more work to be done before that really changes around. But that doesn't mean we can't have a massive rally either. You're going to have your rallies in your bear market, just like you're going to have your dumps in your bull market. It's one of those things. Have to be agnostic in a range like this when price action is floating around, especially on a weekend when hunts are very, 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 very normal. very, just happen all the fucking time. Keep the eyes on the prize right here. Don't get caught up in the hopium. Don't get caught up in the bullshit. Don't get caught up in the doom and gloom either. Anyways, go back on over to Mr. Buterol, and let's go check out the top shitcoins, which Mr. Buterol actually did lose. If I go over here to the daily, did lose the 21 exponential last night. Did close below on the daily. We closed 136 and 18 cents, and it was about 20 cents above. So we actually have officially lost that. Also, the 10 simple. Yes, we are having a rally alongside Mr. Bitcoin as well. But let's go down to the lower time frames and see how this looks. Yeah, looking at it right now, you can see that the critical area for Mr. Buterol to break out of is this 143.5 area. As long as he's below there, it's just to be considered consolidation. And actually, I would argue that with the breakage of the daily 21, I would probably be more on the side of the I'd be on more the side of the bears right now. However, when I look at the lower time frames, that critical support that needs to be broken is right here, 135 and a quarter. If 135 and a quarter can be broken, then oh man, we already had the move down to 131 and a half. I think we talked about that last night. If that was going to break down. So that does actually kind of complicate it a little bit. But if we actually can break below 135 and a quarter on like a 2-hour dildo time frame, then I would be looking for a move down to, at the very least, 127 and probably beyond. And probably beyond after that. You got to be thinking, what's Bitcoin going to be doing? But of course, same sort of range, 143.5 versus 135. It's actually a nice little range right there. You can't see the 0.5 basically governing these, this last sort of accumulation period. So I'd imagine that this is going to be the massive area of battlement, if you will, if he does turn down. But of course, higher time frames, we are still in the context of an overall rising channel right here now, aren't we? Which I'd be running with as long as we are creating lower high, or sorry, just basically not above 162. If Mr. Buteral does crawl his way back above 162, I would be looking for a quick move to test, 190, 180, and then probably 200. But, the macro areas for Mr. Buteral are all the way up here at around 220-ish on Finex. Overall, this ascending trend line that was broken to the upside in May of last year, started in May last year at 800 and then broken to the upside about 3 weeks ago in middle of February. I would look for this guy to get retested overall if we were to break down below this over time. So again, a lot at stake here as well. Probably just going to follow Bitcoin, but did have certainly the most bearish of the top three. Buteral, Bitcoin, and Mrs. Litecoin, which we're going to go check out right now. But before that, I do want to check out daily oscillators. Daily Stokes are up. Daily Stokes are up. I mean, this has been a very good indicator for the past. Really for the past year on Mr. Buteral. I'm curious what the Jewel looks like. Jewel not giving us anything, but could be setting up. It might be a setup, but man, it's right in the middle there. I really don't like taking those. I like taking them in the more critical zones. Daily RSI not telling us much either. Literally right in the middle, rejecting the bearish control zone, but also rejecting the bullish zone. I don't have a strong opinion here. But it does look like it wants to give another test to the upside. If you don't really want to consider that, but 143.5 again, the critical area. If it does break that to the upside, I would be looking for really a quick move to 152 and probably beyond. Personally, I think that you'd get back to your prior high at 160, 161. Mrs. Litecoin charging all the way back up to $57, and back. I know I was speaking about this yesterday about the daily Jewel on Litecoin. This is not a sell. This is not a sell at all. In fact, this could be setting up for a nice another rally, is what it's telling us. But again, this guy gal. It's Women's Appreciation Day, so we got to appreciate her. Be very nice to her, Mrs. Litecoin. I respect you. And I will buy you dinner and call you afterwards. Anyways, where does that come from? Nobody knows. Looking at these time frames right here, we got all the way down to $54 in the overnight hours. We spoke about that on stream last night, that this guy was likely to have, girl was likely to have a pullback. Don't want to assume genders right now though. Was likely to have a pullback and did at around $54, but picked up instantly. This is what you expect out of really bullish things, actually. So yes, while we are still in the overall context of an ascending broadening wedge, which is typically a bearish pattern, bearish leaves all pattern, there's only so many times that you can tap the upside resistance before it breaks. It gets weaker and weaker each and every time, as the saying goes, and it is rising over time as well. So it does make it tricky because each and every day that goes past that we actually don't break it, it rises by another quarter. But if this thing actually can break above about $59 now, close the daily dodo above there, would be looking for a quick move to about $69, and that is quite literally $69, not like a meme, but like an actual, actually right around here I'd be looking for. So again, I do see the volume signature of an ascending broadening wedge, which is typically, bearish, like I said, bearish pattern. But lower time frames do want to give another rally here. They do want to give another rally. 4 hour, it looks like it wants to go up. What are our medium time frames doing? We got 8 hour right here. Yes, it's technically down, but it's losing momentum and looks like it wants to cross the upside. What about 10 hour? 10 hour actually is cross the upside, but not confirmed. 12 hour is down and will be further confirmed if it stays here lower by the next 5 hours and 12 minutes. So again, if this guy does break down, girl, apologies. I really do. Litecoin, I have much more respect for you than that to ever get that wrong again. Sorry. I apologize. If it does turn back down again, if it does lose this area around 55.5, I would be looking for a move down to about 52.5, somewhere here. Would look about right. I'd imagine that area does get defended quite well. If that area does fail, then $50. But again, as long as we're still respecting this area as resistance, about $59, this is just the upper trend line of this ascending broadening wedge. So be careful of that. I'm curious what the daily is looking like. Are we getting close to a golden cross on the daily? No, it's pretty far away. It's going to take another few weeks. But hey, that would be a big deal to me. If Mrs. Litecoin is going to do something different, it is going to lead the market to the upside, then I'd want to see this happen first. That'd be my next big signal as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I mean, it will get golden cross as long as it remains above about $50, but it's going to take probably like 2-3 weeks. Unless if it has another massive lug up, then it'll happen a lot sooner. Okay, cool. So let's go check out traditional markets. Traditional markets did bounce up end of day. Of course, we spoke about this in the morning video and during the live stream that, once you saw it come back down below 272.5, 271.5 in this range right here, that was the bounce-ish territory. And of course, we bounce all the way back up, fill the gap from open. But am I bullish on this? Am I bearish on this? Well, looking at a reaction like this, I'd be more neutral than anything, because what's happening right now is we have two major competing narratives going on. We have actually closed below the daily 20-minute exponential. We both opened and closed below it. We actually did regain the 200 simple by the end of the day. Oh, okay, maybe I take that back. I might be leaning slightly bullish here in the short-term time frames. And we do have a daily total golden cross over here as well. So yes, it was likely to come down, but just like I said, and again, I'm not saying this to sound arrogant or anything like that. I say this so that you can go do this yourself, or that we can get an overall understanding of how price action relates to each other when it comes down to these major areas. Well, when I see a golden cross like this, you're likely going to bounce off that. It's likely going to be defended at the very least on the first pass. And the reaction coming in from here is going to be absolutely critical to see. Do we actually start? I mean, if this thing gets back above 279, that would be very, 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 very good. Right now, we actually did reclaim the 200 simple. So I would be looking for this rally to get extended. Probably next area of resistance is 277. I do think, my personal opinion is that you do get higher than that. However, we do have all of our daily oscillators, signaling more down. Daily stocks comfortably down. Daily RSI kicked way out of the bullish control zone and trending below the exponential, but due for a little bit of a comeback. Daily Jewel, not going to be saying anything. I mean, it gave the sell right here, and then now we gotta wait. Now we gotta wait until the next magical signal. So again, oh, by the way, I should also say, Jesus Christ, I always forget to talk about this. Technically speaking, I was going to have a sale for all my programs, 20% off starting next week for the 1-year anniversary of this channel, which will be Tuesday. But because a lot of people want to get started early, and I completely understand that. You want to get started early because, it just means that you're going to get better faster. I've been giving out the code, throughout these videos. So if you want the code, if you want to treat yourself a little bit earlier, use the code YEAR20, all capitals, YEAR 20. Understand though, again, I always want to preface this conversation by saying that all my programs are not designed for people who are not 100% into this. These are designed for true diehards, people who want to typically do this as a living. Doesn't mean that everyone in the program is doing this as a living, but I want to make sure that the group is of the same sort of mind, not because I'm some sort of tyrant, but because when we're all coming together to kind of go towards the same sort of goal, I want to make sure that everyone's of the same, of the same caliber. And I know that most people don't want to be a trader as a living. And I completely understand that. That's completely fine. Everyone has their own preferences and whatnot. That's all good. But for the people who do want to actually do that, then yes, this would be a good choice. If not, then definitely don't consider it. All my free material is probably going to get 99.9% of people to about where they want to be, and I've plenty of playlists dedicated towards that fact, and it's completely free. So check that out. The new to technical analysis series and the technical indicators and strategy series, and then also the option series now as well. Anyways, get off that topic and back onto the charts. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking for. SPY would be looking for this bounce to be extended. 277 is going to be your next resistance. I don't think that one stops it. I think that it probably gives a test up to around 278, maybe even 279. That's going to be where the real test is. If it does reclaim 279, I would probably be bullish on it. It's going to all depend off of the reaction off this golden cross, because again, if this gets respected, I do not want to be bearish. And from a higher level delta time frame perspective, reversal talk is not really appropriate until we actually break below about 264. You can also see, the weekly exponential is going to be supporting price action right around that, basically right down to where we came, popped down to, which was front ran, which does imply bullish, does imply typically more bullish nature. Also the 382 being defended, pretty high fib. Anyways, okay, we spoke about SPY, we spoke about the top two. Let's go on and check out the bottom, or sorry, well, I guess not necessarily BNB. BNB is not a bottom coin, but again, it's doing its own thing. It's been doing its own thing for a while. I don't really consider it in the same category as the other cryptos, but basically, yeah, it looks like we do have our first rejection finally, and likely I'd imagine that this probably does have some follow through to the downside. It would be looking for support I mean, technically, we bounce off support in the early night hours or early morning hours, $13.87.5. If this area does get violated to the downside, I'd be looking down right around here, right around 12.85 ish area. Overall, if this thing came all the way down to about $11.69, that would be I'd say that that's probably the best. If we have a very deep retracement, which this thing did not retrace all that much all the way up. So typically speaking, you will have, if you don't retrace, if you trace shallow, for the most part, then at some point you will retrace deep. So if we did have a deep retracement, I would be looking for this $11.80 region, which would probably map out. Did I just completely fuck that up? Oh no, that's unrelated. I'm gonna get off that. Yeah, would probably be a nice bounce. But again, I do think that we've probably found highs here for now. Probably going to go down and consolidate lower first. Let's go check out Zcash. What's Zcash doing? Did he join in on any of the fun of last night? Do we have another massive wick from hell? Nope, we don't have that, but we are still in the overall context of a descending triangle. We are below all major moving averages, not even able to test the 10 simple on that last up. What about Bcash? Bcash is the real Zcash. No, it's just in another descending triangle and below all major moving averages as well. What about Tron Cash? Tron Cash, seeing more continuation again. I mean, this is exactly what we said. Broke down below this this support trend line, comes and tests the pink 200 simple, pops back up, retests the broken trend line as resistance, confirmed. Probably going to pop back down to the 200 simple, and I'd imagine we probably have another bounce off that if this does lose the 200 simple. If we do close below the 200 simple at 2.19 cent, we'll be looking for a move down somewhere around here, right around 1.9. Let me actually put this guy in. Somewhere right around here would look about right. There we go. And I'll denote this support right around there. Okay, cool. I mean, as long as it's below 2.47 cent, I would be overall bearish on this guy. Neocash, what's he doing? Above $9 right now, right at the resistance, giving the resistance another test last night as we saw, but rejecting from it. Can we give another test at $9.30? I mean, I would actually be kind of bullish off this. I would interpret this action as bullish and probably wants to break the 935. Daily Stoke, fresh cross up. Daily RSI looks okay. Did hold above the 21, very healthily defended. I like that. Jewel could be setting up for a major sell at the same point in time. But if I was just looking at the daily, I would actually I would kind of interpret this as at the very least wanting to give this area another go. If it does take out 935 on like a 2-hour dildo, I would be looking for run up to about 1040. So again, that is what is at stake right now. EOS Cash. What's EOS Cash doing? Again, another one of the more stronger ones of the top shitcoins. But again, big area right here is $4, about $4 even. As long as you're below there, still just consolidation below all these major moving averages. And in the overall context of a rising channel, bear flag. Needs to get above about 450 to change some of the medium time frame perspective. Sorry, not medium, but macro time frame perspective. Medium time frame will be changed above $4. Let's go over and check out Ripple Cash. What's he doing? Ripple Cash giving another test of the overall resistance trend line of this ascending triangle. Another ascending triangle, as you probably noticed. And also lining up with the green 50 exponential on this guy as well. So as long as it's below about 31.8 cents, I would still just look at this as another test of a resistance. And, well, so far still holding. But typically a descending triangle is bearish, and I would be looking at this with skepticism as we've seen a lot of disappointment for Ripple over the past year. If it were to take out 31.8 cent, I would be looking for a run to about 33 and a third cent. If that area gets taken out, then we can actually test the most important resistance that I look for, which is 34.5 cent. If 34.5 cent is taken out, that will change around a lot for Mr. Ripple's nipples. But for now, still healthily below all these resistances, and more importantly, in the context of a descending triangle. Monero Cash, what's Monero Cash doing? Monero Cash looks like he wants to. Yeah, it looks like he wants to take a little bit of a run as well, actually. Did close yesterday as a massive selling dildo, not a bearish engulfing, but what are the lower time frames saying? I'm curious what these guys say right now. Come on, baby, show me the money. Yeah, good reaction off all these moving averages. Again, I'd be looking for another test of this range high right around 51 and 3/4. It's actually a little bit more accurately right here. If we could get it right. Again, it's difficult with these with these lower market cap shitcoins. Monero is not a shitcoin, right? I'm just using a term of endearment. But it's difficult because you get this very flighty, floaty price action. The bots aren't so sophisticated there. But yeah, major resistance right around 54.5. That's where the semi macro perspective starts to get changed around. But lower time frames do want to rally. They do want to rally right now. Stellar Cash, what's Stellar Cash doing? Still in the context of an ascending broadening wedge right here, and testing the resistance actually of this falling channel right here along the way, which is lining up perfectly with the 50 exponential. By the way, looks very similar, sounds very similar to Mr. Ripple's nipples, and above all major moving averages, and using them to rally off of. I like this. I actually kind of like this. Again, daily Stokes will be very weak up, very flaccid. Daily RSI is really ugly. Just consolidating between the bearish control zone and the neutral zone, typically not the best sign. But if it can take out 9.1 cent, 9 and a tenth, then I would be looking for another test of about 9.5. Not too exciting right here. If 9.5 can get taken out, that's where things get a lot more interesting. As I would be looking for a run up to around 11 cents. But yeah, there are a few good things pointing up right now. We do have Daily Jewel looking to be supported, which that would have given the buy signal right here. So has it already played out? That is a pretty good move, but I think that typically the Daily Jewel, if it gives a perfect signal, that is not a perfect signal, but if it gives a perfect signal, it'll give you more. Okay, cool. So we talked about all that. I think we covered most of what I want to speak about. Did we get it to everything? We got to, okay, yes, we talked about that. Let's get back on over to Mr. Bitcoin. Bitcoin actually at 38.93. Holy moly, this one's going to give a test right now. Let's actually stay online for this. I want to see how it reacts right around here, right around this 3,900 level, as that is a critical area to be aware of. And we are getting ever so close right here, right now. Very exciting times as I do look over on my other screen. And you can see we're giving it another formal stab right to this horizontal at 3,900-ish even. And it looks like we actually did close that hourly back above this this broken trend line. So a little bit of a hunt to the downside right here. Look at the volume on this; just crawls its way back up, and that is, being bought right back up like that is fucking bullish. I mean, it is fucking bullish. But like we said, the lower time frame is likely to rally. The real question is, can we actually confirm and close above this next area? That's where the picture starts to change around. And looking like it's going to get a little bit more intense right now. Let's see if we can actually adjust this for the 2-hour dildo time frame. Be technically coming in right around 39.07 for that overhead resistance. But plenty of wicks above. Remember, I really need to see this whole area destroyed right here. That's where the picture gets changed. If we can actually get above 39.40, if we can close a nice 2-hour dildo above there, very, 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 very good. I mean, that's going to change around all of the medium-term timeframes for me, and I'd be bullish on them. And I would be looking for a run, again, back to about 4,200 and probably beyond. Well, let's see if we can actually catch some. Let me just see if my account, if I can bring up my account right now. No, I'm still signed on to my onto my main account, so I guess I'll stay off that for now. But Jesus Christ, man, look at this. I mean, just look at this fucking wick. I mean, this is Bitcoin at its best. Just hunt them out and then run the other way. So nasty, and of course, it's going to be done on a weekend, which classic shit. It looks like we are coming up against some resistance right now. We have to go to the very low time frames to figure this one out. Are we gonna find a top here or not? It's going to be another sell. I will enter into a position on my main account if we do break back down below 38.75 for a scalp. But I don't like entering in this area right here, especially after a quick comeback like this. When you see an asset, basically put in a bear trap and then rally all the way back up immediately, I don't like taking that trade again. So I've been taking trades in this region for the last 2 weeks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and those have all worked. I don't think the seventh one's, I honestly don't think the seventh one's going to work. So I'm not really trying it right now. Let's see. I'm going to go over here to the 6-hour. I'm curious how are these time frames changing around? Yeah, 6-hour Stokes will be hinting at a cross up in this posturing. The 3-hour Stokes are still headed healthily up, and 2-hour Stokes, yeah, up as well. And everything's going to be up. Yeah, everything's signaling up right here. It's going to depend on how we react. We are right in the thickness of this area. I think we're going to be testing 3,900 even now perfectly, and there it is, 39.02. Can we make another high over this guy right here? It's going to start to look a little bit more promising if we can. That's 39.07 and a half. Currently $4.50 underneath right now. So, come on, Bitcoin, show me the way, baby, show me the way. I'm curious how the other top shitcoins are reacting right now. We have Mrs. Litecoin. Where's she going to be around? Basically right here. where the last few hourlies have been finding resistance upon. What about Mr. Butyrol? Mr. Butyrol right here, nowhere near. That's not a good sign. And again, you can see when it's actually in the moment, pretty damn calm when this sort of shit goes down. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting some movement. Just made another little bit of a high over this last guy right here. 913 was prior high. Yes, we do have new highs, and I believe that has changed around the daily. As far as that goes, we will be testing the 89 very, very soon. I'm going to stay on just for this if we can. It's coming in around 39.36 and a half. Getting right around there very, very soon. Holy moly, it's right there. And I do consider this now a formal test of this region. And let's see what the reaction is. Does the selling take over? Do the bears actually defend this area or not? This is absolutely critical right now. If the bears do lose this area, I do believe that you're going to see some fireworks coming up. But so far, a test of this area and pushing off. How high did we get? $28 high. Sorry, $39.28 to be exact. And now ticking down a little bit. So it looks like first pass will be a sell. But this action does look overall good to me. So again, we're gonna have to wait this one out. We at least need to see like a 2-hour delta close above this area, which actually in the next hour we will be closing 4-hour and 8 hours. So if this next 54 minutes and 28 seconds can get above this area again, 39.40, that's gonna be good enough for me. That's going to be good enough. So it can be decided very, 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 very soon. Let's see if we can actually get out the video beforehand. But I'm going to probably end it here because I don't think that we're going to see all that much more. It does look like the first pass is going to be a rejection to me. Now what happens is the fun part. Where do we go from here? But quickly backing off this area is, I wouldn't say the best sign. Already $30 under. Yeah, selling taking over right now. Let's see how much I'll stay on for a little bit longer. Let's see how much for this can go before we get a decent buyback. I'm curious. Let's go back on over to Mrs. Litecoin. What's she doing? Yeah, right around the same range, finding resistance right around the last few tops. We'll be printing divergence as well, though. With a failure to really close above, we will be printing divergences. All the way up to maybe like a 2-hour. But, you have all these medium time frame oscillators starting to switch around to a more bullish posturing as well, which in this range would be interpreted pretty damn well. So, let's check out 3-minute close with a massive wick to the upside. You know what that means? No, of course not. Let's see, 5-minute, not really telling us anything. It's way too early to really gauge anything out of this, but a long wick like this above a resistance, tells me that there is selling pressure. Bears are still defending. I'm curious, did we add any shorts or did we lose some? We lost some, actually. We just lost about 500 shorts from when we last looked at it. And longs as well. Longs coming down as well. Longs going all the way from, lost 500 longs. 500 shorts, 500 longs. Very strange behavior. We're seeing them basically going confluence. So longs are taking profit, shorts are de-risking. Jesus Christ, man. Let's go back on to Mr. Bitcoin. Still below 39. Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a sell probably. So I will probably take position after I end this video. Again, if we violate like $75 to the downside, I will add on to a wick like this. Let's see. How's the other pictures going to be changed around? Yeah, it's 4-hour. Not really telling us anything unique about the charts right now. But hey, again, oscillators are up. Oscillators are signaling more upside. 5-hour are going to cross up on the next tick as well. 6-hour again. It's actually going to really matter where this next 51 minutes and 57 seconds goes, because it's going to have confluence with all of the 5 to 12 hours essentially, which are going to denote if we're going to actually open up or down on these next Stoke crosses. If we open back up, then that's probably going to be the impetus for running through this next zone. But for now, looking like it will be defended for now. Anyways, I'm going to end the video right here as I'm fucking hungry, man. So again, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you on this lovely Saturday morning. Want to be wishing you well on this lovely Saturday morning as well. As always, wishing you the best, the happiest of the happiest. Just do whatever you want on this beautiful Saturday. I'm going to go shopping for some more equipment gear. So if you do have any suggestions for new upgrades, please let me know. I'm always looking for upgrades to make this experience better because, well, that's what makes it fun. And oh yeah, if you are a video editor, hit me up because because I would love to speak with you. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I will be looking to hire someone, in the near future to edit some videos. So if that sounds like you, I'd love to get in contact. And with that said, I'm going to sign off right here. Again, keep your eyes on the 3940 level and 3790 level to the downside. Obviously, we're very far away from that right now, as that is the medium-term time frame picture at hand. Take care, and I'll see you soon.